Hello, everybody. It says I am live here, and I'm super excited to be with you this evening. I am still in Ohio with my family, and I was having a really great time with I wish I could show you pictures, but my family would not be happy with me showing their children's. Well, probably shouldn't show children's pictures online, anyways, but they're so stinking cute. And so two of my cousins' children were there. So there was 4 total kids. The baby that I was rocking back and forth on my earlier live stream, and then an older boy, a 7-year-old girl, and then a younger brother. So I got to go over and play with them. The little girl was having me make little bracelets with her. It was really cute. So I'm going to be having a little snow bracelet soon once we get all of that figured out. But in the midst of us hanging out and playing, I overhear my aunt downstairs talking about, I don't even know what the guy's name is, so let's look. Charlie Kirk. How fast that is spreading through the mainstream news. Of course, I don't believe any mainstream news is real. I think it's everything that we're shown through a screen is shown to us on purpose for a reason. And whether that is to suck up all of the loosh, all of everyone's emotions and all of that, it also programs us. It essentially leads us into these states of fear and uneasiness and distrust toward our fellow humans. And so we should be really cautious about what we are believing, which is kind of funny because, earlier today, the live stream was about one of these psyops, and then literally within the time that we've spoken, another thing has happened. And this violence is going to continue to escalate on, through the screen. And they're hoping that we will take that on and then go do the violence ourselves. Violence only begets violence. I'm sitting up there with my little, she's not my cousin, first cousin once removed, whatever, little girl putting some nice little charm bracelets together, and I overhear my aunt saying something like, I hope they kill the guy that did this. And I'm just like, wow, you're saying that to children. Like, man, this stuff is really powerful, and violence only begets violence. Killing people is only going to promote further violence, and it's not the solution that anybody needs. It's not going to fix anything in our world. It's just going to make things worse. We've already been walking the path of violence for thousands of years. That's why the animal kingdom is at rest. That's why the human species is at rest. Everything is in this state of chaos because we've already been walking the path of violence, and we need to change course if we want the rest of the world to change. Obviously, I'm not saying that we should just let people get away, like if there is a real case of violence, that the person should just get away with it, but we should have means of, I'm not opposed to jail and having different ways to essentially put these people in therapy and help heal them from why they did what they did. Like, I think there needs to be a more paternal or parent take on how we do things, the more loving approach and more caring, more good and godly. So I'm definitely not against having a sort of prison system or whatever, but in that context, it should definitely be just, and also there should be therapeutic means of actual healing in this. It's not just you get thrown into a cell and then you get thrown into like the jail gangs and become even worse in that environment for when you get out, which that's how the powers that be designed it, and that's how they want it. So anyways, I actually, Kyle says, so we get yet another psyop today. Exactly. I was trying to find the video of this Kirk shooting, and there's only one that came up, and basically it was blurred the whole time. Again, everything is always blurred, and they'll just say, oh, it's mainstream media, we can't show you this gory violence or whatever, while they show us like R-rated movies with killing and even more violent and gruesome things on television. So anyways, them putting all these blurs all over everything is continuing to Hey, Josh, I actually wanted to talk about the train as well too, but both of the situations, it's like as soon as anything actually happens, they put a blur on it, and then it's like, don't just believe us. You can't see it, but just take our word for it. Don't ask any questions, especially when there's emotions involved, right? Like, oh my gosh, how could someone died? Someone's father, someone's mother, someone's blah blah blah, like that emotional charge, and that won't let them think about it rationally and be like, okay, let's actually watch the video from a unattached position where we're not allowing it to affect us emotionally, which, I mean, maybe that's easier for some of us than others. I'm a Virgo and I can compartmentalize pretty well in different ways, and like I'm not affected by watching this to try to see if it's real or not. Well, I guess I shouldn't say I'm not, because we're always affected by anything that we are consuming or putting in, but it's not going to be programming me in the same way that someone is that's just going in to watch it on the mainstream news. So yeah, I saw a, hey Jennifer, how's it going? Sorry to everybody else that I just skipped over just to say hi to Jennifer, but love y'all. Let me just start at the top. Josh was asking if we're talking about Charlie Kirk or the stabbing on the train, and I would like to talk about both of them. I just saw a video on Facebook that I wanted to download and kind of chat about. Kyle says there's more videos of it on X. Oh, cool. Okay, well, I'm not on X, I'm not on TikTok or any of that kind of stuff, so I'll have to get on. If you have any of the links, I would appreciate anybody sending me whatever they found. David says both are psyops. Exactly. Okay, and David also gave us a TikTok link, which I'm not sure that let's see. What? I think I can maybe open it, but I don't have TikTok, so I might not be able to see it. That's weird. Okay, it just took me to a different, like a main site there, so I'll have to look into that later. Josh says, do you think both incidents are real or not real? I think that everything that we see on mainstream media is for a reason. So I have a really hard time believing that either one are real, especially with the timing and everything that the powers that be have planned. And then I'm going and actually watching the videos and trying to be more observant, and things just aren't really adding up. So I don't know. I think even if things are real, we should still keep our peace about us and understand that they're amplifying things so that we take on that behavior again and we go out into it. They're really trying to race war, sex war, divide and conquer in every single way possible so that we all attack each other and don't unite. It's really a timed, thing, because we're all starting to wake up and like realize all of these truths, and at the same time that's when they're trying to bombard us extra with all of these psyops in the last days. So hello, Nida. Nida. Cool. David says that the above video is proof that the Irina stabbing is 100% fake, a psyop. Okay, cool. I will I might have to sign up for TikTok and look at it another way. So Jennifer says, LOL, it's going good. I just heard he passed. Yes. So sad on his passing. Well, personally, I don't believe that any of that is real. I think that the master brain is trying to manipulate us using Hollywood fakery on television, and then they put it in there as real, and then people come away with all of these feelings and hatred towards other people. Like I was saying with this specific one, I heard my own aunt, who these people are claiming mainstream Christians, love God, they eat animals, so that tells you something. But saying, I hope they kill this guy, right? So they have this violence that's even seeped into the supposed Christians, that they want this retribution of like, he did something bad, so let's go and take him out. And as you and I both know, as all of us Nazarenes know, killing is not the way, and it's only going to make everything worse. Cool. Kyle says, I sent videos straight to your DM on Facebook. Awesome. Let me see. David says that Charlie Kirk shooting will also turn out to be a psyop. Satan is a master of deception. Yeah, and like I said, I did try to look up the videos, and they always put a blur over it. So it's just like, hey, you know, just believe us, whatever's happening behind this blurred mark, take our word for it. And I don't know about you, but I know for sure that the mainstream news people are liars. They are always lying. 9/11, do you guys remember when they lied? They said that these planes happened and all this stuff, and then they show the building in the back that hasn't been bombed yet, basically. And yeah. Larry says unplug. Amen to that, buddy, because everything that we see television, you know, it's exactly there for a reason. And Josh says, Queen Anonymous, no, I'm with you on the race war aspect. Exactly. And Kyle says, it seems that Trump is now calling for the death penalty of both perpetrators. It seems like he's trying to abolish trial by peers. Oh, that's a really good point, because we already know that in the future, when they have this complete control over everything, they're going to try to bypass all of the laws and the justice system and all of this wherever they can. They already do. Like, I don't believe that the system right now is good anyways. And they just want to make it further, but they need humans to cheer it on, right? All of these people that are at home that are already, like my aunt, saying, you know, get that guy. Where's the trial? Where's the, you know, and where's the actual justice? Justice isn't an eye for an eye. An eye for an eye leaves the whole world blind, right? It's not going to fix anything. There needs to be real justice, which is healing through love. And we're not going to get that with the powers that be. Jennifer says, that's what I'm catching here. I literally saw a text and then you're live. Thank you for this clarity. Oh, cool. Love that. It was really nice to talk to you yesterday, by the way. Hello, Shayla. Sorry if I pronounced your name wrong. This question is kind of unrelated, but it's related to inverts. In the past, would FTMs give birth before surrogates became a concept? Interesting. That is a really good question that I don't have the answer to. We can speculate. But yeah, I have a few different things in my mind. First of all, in the Holy Megillah, Satan basically takes the embryo from Eve and raises it in another way. So like the first historical thing of that happening is in the Megillah, of like having that embryo taken out and raised in another place. But that's a really interesting thing, because now we see in this day and age, like, I don't know about you guys, but when I'm on Facebook, like, surrogacy ads, and for me, I'm just like, this is very offensive. Do not ask me this. Like, I don't know about you, but I could never have a baby growing inside of me and bond with it for 9 months and then just give it away. Like, can't do it. Don't even ask me to try. But yeah, that's a really interesting question. And who knows also what kind of technology that they have potentially always had access to. I don't know. Maybe they had different sort of technology to be able to grow the babies, just kind of like the evil one did in the Megillah. And then more recently, they've been promoting the surrogacy thing to really, I don't know. I guess I've never really talked to any surrogates, and maybe I'm sure that there's a lot of them that are happy with their experience and whatever. But for me, I just feel like that would be a really hard thing and almost an abusive thing on myself to go through all of that connection and love and everything and then hand over the baby. So yeah, great question. David D says, video proves 0 blood on Irina neck after stabbing. There was some blood on the seat, nowhere near the stabbing. Then Irina, what an interesting name, lies on the floor and bursts the fake blood sac. It's all part of the plan. That actually might be the video that Julian says his aunt's single. She's unhappily married, but let's not get into that. All right. I actually downloaded a video, so it might be similar to what you're talking about. Let me just play this really quick, and we will.
How did she have the guy's gonna get up, he like opens it, looks like a nail file, but right, yes, he makes it look a little physical, throws the hat off. Now all the stabbing or whatever was up here, right? So I don't see one drop of blood, nothing. I see some blood on like from probably a packet he opened up, but look, when she gets up, there should be blood all here on the seat, but no, right there where she was sitting. Did he stab her down there? Was it that time of the month? It makes no sense. And look, she's strong enough to have her hand up here, which is amazing. Look, she's gripping onto the thing. Okay, so let's go to part 2. Let's open this up. Now watch how fake this is. Watch. She's falling down. She's falling. There's that blood again, right? Now look, her hand is still up there. Now she's going to reach for something here. Look, she's reaching for something. Look. And then her hand, oh, and then she squirts whatever the fuck that was. Blood doesn't work that way, right? Why did it stop squirting? Because it was in a packet. Guys, this is so fucking easy. And then the guy comes here with a cowboy hat on. I hope I didn't miss him ready. There it is. Pentagram. There's your pentagram. Devil worship. Where? What happened to all that? Look, the blood exploded out and it just stood there still. Where's all the blood? How did she have the power to reach for whatever that was up there? I wish I could go back. I can't go back, but you'll see it. Okay? Guys, for those of you that want to believe it, Benny, hold this. For those of you guys who want to believe it, I don't know why you want to believe it. It's divide and conquer. It's the same old shit. If I thought this was really troubling, I wouldn't have my 7-year-old recording this, but he already knows that it's all what, Benny?
So, take it for what it is, but we need to think critically about the things that we're seeing on the television. And I know that there was another video, because we saw a picture of the actual center of the bus with them on the right, and then you can see the aisle and you can see people on the left. That was like one of the first pictures or something or videos that was shown, and like nobody even moves when the whole thing happens. So it's kind of just a very interesting thing, to say the least. David says that they are really ramping up the Psyops, trying to get right versus left, as well as the race war, sex war against immigrants, the list goes on. Yeah, and they've been shifting people around the world using different methods, whether it's persecution or whatever, to move different people in different locations. And then we end up with this mixed pot, which, hey, I'm not saying anything negative about it, but the history that we're given to get us in this mixed pot situation is going to be ramped up so that, white people are the devil. They had slaves and all this stuff. And then on the other side, like, black people are very violent and all these other things, right? They're going to really be playing on both sides, especially, like other races are also involved. But in these particular things, we're talking about these two races, essentially. We just have to really be careful what we're watching, because that's what they want. They want us to be at odds with each other. I don't care what skin color you have. What I care about is the soul inside. And even if your soul is lost and broken and you are violent, I have understanding and compassion for you, because I understand, first of all, how would you even have a chance in this world when in your mommy's belly, you were literally raised on violence? Your meals consisted of a product that came from raping animals, taking their children away from them, slaughtering them, all these different types of abuse. You're eating that essence every time that you eat from a baby. So I have compassion for you. I'm not going to let you continue doing the evil that you're doing, but it's like, we shouldn't be hating people even when they're doing bad things. We should try to love and have understanding towards them in a way that is not adding to their hurt. They're doing what they're doing because they're hurt and they're broken, and us going after them is not going to help the solution. Yeah, we feel our egos get triggered and we're like, get them, whatever. You made me mad. You upset me, blah, blah, blah. Like, that's a natural thing, but we need to fight against that and try to, at least for me, I am trying to see people like God and Goddess see us, like they see me with that love and compassion as their child. No matter what mistakes that I've made, they have seen the little demons whispering in our ears, all of the temptations, all of the programming, everything that led us to that position, and they understand and they love us. So that's what I'm trying to extend to the world, because frankly, we can all look back on our lives and see all the mistakes that we've made, and all of us can probably say, wow, I really don't deserve, I don't deserve to be loved and forgiven by the Creator for all of this stuff that I've done against creation, against my fellow humans, all this stuff. They still love us. And if they can love and forgive us, they're going to love and forgive these supposed shooters, the stabbers, whatever. in understanding of what led them to those moments. So that being said, I still don't believe that the situation's real, but it might get dark. Hello. Late to the stream. I saw the video of that shooting, not expecting it. My coworker basically said, wow, look at this, and shoved it in my face. It was very jarring and put me in a bad headspace. Aw. Yeah, especially at work, which is exactly what is wanted out of something like this. Definitely. You're so right. That loosh, that the energy. If you guys have seen Monsters Inc., where they go in and they scare the kids, and then these packs end up full with that energy that they can use to power their whatever. It's the same concept. They were literally showing us truth in plain sight. So David says, can we just call her Irene? Is that okay with everybody? We're just going to say Irene from now on. Irene is an obvious invert. Charlie Kirk is an obvious invert. Humans are being deceived and manipulated by his inverted demon-infested minions. Exactly. And when deceivers are involved, not just the mainstream news being known for deceptive, but the actual actors and stuff involved, like they can get away with a lot, and we should be really careful. For me, the first thing when I come across anyone, really, even people in the truther community, I want to know if you're a real boy or girl, because I want to know if I can trust you or not. And I'm not trying to get too far into that conversation, but Mike Get Dark says, a real close friend of mine's sister has been a surrogate twice after having 2 kids of her own. She absolutely loves it. Okay, interesting. Well, they also might like, I don't know, going through the pregnancy and then not having to raise the kid afterwards, which I actually personally don't get, but yeah, I don't know. I also see the perspective of being able to give another woman the gift of having a child and all that kind of positive energy. This guy's really jamming on his... I don't know if you saw him. He's on a motorcycle. David says Satan has a master plan and all the psyops are contributing. Yeah, when we read the Megillah and talk about how this master brain was implemented and how this master brain's actually making decisions from underneath, right? And how long has that actually already been going on, that the master brain has been controlling it and leading us down this path? Is the master brain coming up with all of these different psyops and all the news stories and everything? Because I wouldn't be surprised at all. So I know that the technology that they give us is like breadcrumbs to the technology that they have. They already have the most advanced technology. The powers that be have been in power like the whole time, and they have kept their power to themselves, and they put humanity through these different cycles of dark ages and ignorance. They give us this illusion of progression. Oh, you guys invented electricity, pat on the head, and just like we're little infants, and then we think that humanity is actually creating these things when frankly they're not. None of the inventions are the technological inventions were already there, and humans aren't the ones that are masterminding any of it. David says, yes, this video, the psyop, exactly. Danny says, yeah, that's clear bullocks. Unless you've got shit in your eyes, watch a few docs on detectives uncovering murders. You'll see there's a ton of shit more blood than that if some cat's throat gets slashed. Hello, McFly. That's a really good point. The lack of blood is very... It doesn't make sense. And like that video said, it's like, why, if you're getting stabbed here, first of all, why isn't there any visible blood? Like, even when they're like pulling the knife over the person's head, you would think that there's like splatter of some sort that's going to be getting on her when he's in this space. And then the fact that it was like all pulled like right under her bum. I don't know. Her reaction also didn't really seem genuine. I've never seen someone get stabbed before, but like just to sit there and be like, kind of like, I don't know, because if someone like comes at you and starts hitting you, like your first reaction is probably going to be like to move away or something, like to have, I don't know. It just didn't. David says, I have never seen white people so upset. Satan is pushing us down a dark path. That is so true. And like, even when I first I was at my aunt's house, heard all this crap about Charlie, and then I came home, and one of the first things that I walked through the door, my dad's like, "Do you know who Charlie Kirk is?" I didn't mean to make him sound like that. He doesn't sound like that, but whatever. And I'm like, I don't know who they are, but I heard that they got shot, and I don't believe anything on the mainstream or on the TV is real. And so I'm just trying to be more loving while also dropping the truth, which is really hard, because the old me I'd have been like, nothing's on the news is real, they're only doing this, just loaded on them. But man, it's frustrating when people aren't ready. Danny says she top notch. Aw, thank you. Adam's a well-trodden pathways. Oh, interesting name. Thank you for continuing to do live streams. I hope things keep going well. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, I really wasn't intending on I guess I don't really know. When I started the daily noontime contemplations, it was only going to be like that month, and it's just continued, and it kind of just feels natural to at least touch base and say hi with you every day and get to connect in this way, because this is what I'm passionate about, especially sharing the Holy Megillah, but creating a community of truthers and having this family, essentially. All of us really are, I shouldn't say all, most people are, a little bit separated from their family, especially because of the truther topics, and we really still want that family connection. And so, yeah, myself included. David D says, surrogacy only works if you are willing to give up the baby that developed inside of you. Even worse if it was your eggs they used. Then the baby is yours by blood. I could not do that. I'm pretty strong in a lot of ways, but I don't know. I've always wanted to be a mom from a very young age. It was the only real constant thing. First I wanted to be a singer, famous praise and worship leader, and then I wanted to be a teacher, different occupational changes, but the only thing that remained constant was wanting to be a mom. And then when I started my awakening process, I'm like, okay, well, I already wanted to be a teacher and go to school with my kids and bring them home and be involved in that. And then I'm like, wait a minute, why would I take them to school? Why wouldn't I just keep them at home and be their teacher there? So that's I was gonna say goal, but that's what's going to happen. It's not a goal. For sure, when I have a child, I will be the one that is me and their father, but I will not be sending my child off to another person to groom them, to educate them, to train them in any way. It's very bizarre to me that we have been convinced as a species to have little ones and then send them off to the state to be raised and groomed. And there's all sorts of programming that goes behind it. It's the feminist movement of, oh, I need to have a career and climb the corporate ladder. Anything you can do, I can do better. This competitive nature that's been put on us as the pendulum swings, right? The pendulum starting with this oppression of women and not getting to vote and being property. I shouldn't say quotes, because that actually has happened, right? All of this oppression, and then they're trying to swing it to this feminist movement, to the complete opposite, where they're stepping out of the female area and trying to be more manly than the men and trying to compete in that space. And I don't know where I was going with that, but yeah, the having to climb the corporate ladder, wanting to see children almost as raising a kid is going to be more work than that. Just different programming that has gone into not wanting to be the stay-at-home mom that actually raises her kids and is involved in everyday life. I mentioned earlier in my live stream that my sister reached out to me and was asking kind of if I had a child that was like me, what would I do differently than my parents in raising her? Because my sister's kid is just like me, and she's so stinking cute. And I'm like, oh, that'd be really hard for you because we didn't really get along as kids. And so if you had to raise me, don't anyways, my point was that one of the things that I would do differently is homeschool, because I think that looking back, I misbehaved a lot and I did a lot of things, but I think it was, if I had a different relationship with my parents, then I think I would have been acting differently. And that's not to say anything negative about them. I absolutely love them. I think that they did the absolute best that they could with the mental framework, the programming, everything that they came into parenting with. They made so many different sacrifices so that we could go to a Christian school, and we had all of the things and more that we ever needed. Like, we never went without, and I love that. But I do wish that I had a better relationship with them, and like, I'm like, Mom, why'd you send me away to school? Like, didn't you love me enough to keep me with you? Like, and it shouldn't be a personal thing, but I do have that, like, that I need to kind of heal from, because it's not a personal thing. So anyways, just got on to another tangent. Hello, Julian. How's it going? Julian says, how many Nazarenes were in Florence? So last month I went up to the Essene church gathering, which I'm kind of bummed that it was when I couldn't be there this month. But there was, I'm trying to like count how many people that were around the circle. 6, 8, 10 or 11, maybe 12 people. It was fun. Like, I know that it's old school and stuff, but there's definitely things that I appreciated about it, and I want really badly to make my own Nazarene church in Mount Shasta so that we can have those kinds of gatherings and community together. So David says the video doesn't make sense. They tried to blur it only to hide how fake it was. Most outlets cut all this part out. This is the only video that actually showed the stabbing in more detail. Interesting. And I agree as well. There's like things that don't make sense. I don't know, if I was sitting there on a train and I saw someone stab someone else, I definitely wouldn't just sit there and do nothing. I don't know what I would do, because I've not been in that situation before, but I wouldn't just sit there and do nothing. So it'll be interesting to see if more stuff comes out. Like I said, there was that original shot with them on the right and then the other people on the left, and as the stabbing's happening over here, the people on the left are just like, looking out the window. Okay, maybe they had headphones in, maybe they weren't paying attention, but come on, like, I don't know. We need this truth or family. Thank God and Goddess for those who have eyes to see. It would be a nightmare world without, thanks, without you giving us hope. Having hope can definitely be hard, even for me, but especially like the Megillah has brought more hope into my life. I just really cling to that light at the end of the tunnel, that this world was made for greatness and we can return to it once more. Without that hope, things can get really dark really fast. And I'm really glad that I can like be hopeful for other people. So thanks for saying that. Feminism has destroyed Western women. Many men have now given up on finding a traditional, supportive wife who respects her husband and wants to be a mother. Others go abroad as passport bros. That's definitely true. I mean, look at America these days and the state of the average female, and just all of the programming that has gone into everything. And I have compassion for both sides, because frankly, from the female side, I look at the guys and I'm not impressed either. So let's not all say that the feminism is only destroying females. Like, males, pornography, that degenerate slide has really dropped the bar for where you guys are, and it's not impressive. It's actually very sad, and there could be there's a lot of hopelessness in that. Thankfully, I know that it's programming, and I have so much hope for the future. So I'm not trying to like bash guys. I'm just saying that there are both things, and both sexes need to acknowledge where we have been programmed, where we have been corrupted, where our downfalls are, so that we can stop doing that and get on the upward spiral and become the best versions of ourselves for each other. Obviously, we need to do it for ourselves first and foremost, but being that light to the opposite sex and being like, hey, you know, there is hope out here. Don't give up on us. Don't turn away, you know. I think that's really important. And so I encourage everybody, you know, watching to become the best version of yourself possible, not just for you, but also to give hope to the world around us, because we all need hope. We all need the light in the end of the tunnel. And once there's like a light here, a light here, a light here, and then we come together, it's just going to be so beautiful. And so, yeah, thank you all for being here. Julian says, I'm taking league soccer as serious as bowling in Big Lebowski. Off to practice. Ta-ta, Nas fam. Awesome. Well, I love soccer, so hopefully you have a really fun time. And yeah, I think as far as sports goes, I know that's not what you're saying, but like sports on television are also rigged as well. There's a lot of like gematria type stuff in scores and the different winnings and stuff that you can look into. Personally, I don't care. I don't like sports. Well, I didn't mean that. I actually do love sports. I don't like professional sports. I don't like watching sports on television. So I don't really care how the Green Bay Packers win of whatever Super Bowl year was predicted in this way. But there are ties that literally have all of those things kind of lined out, which is interesting. But the whole circus and peanuts thing, right? The powers that be keep us all distracted with whatever distraction suits us best. That's why they have so many different shows, so many different programs to choose from, so many different shills that you can choose from, different personalities. They understand that they need variety so that their net is casted really wide and they can get as many, you know, sheepy fish as possible. It's a bad analogy, but whatever. David says the Megillah teaches that we can change the world into a garden paradise. Absolutely. And even in the short term, things might fail, but in the bigger cycles of everything, everything is eventually moving towards the universal salvation of all beings. So maybe there's some really dark times. Maybe this cycle doesn't end exactly how we would want it to. Maybe this, maybe that. But we know that, you know, once things end, if it's not okay, it's not the end. What's that saying? Everything will be okay in the end. If it's not okay, it's not the end. Just keep going through and just trust the divine plan, not the powers that be plan. Trust the divine plan that everything is ultimately working out, that God and Goddess have a plan, that there are souls like us that have chosen to come and be part of the Christ family, that we come into these fallen worlds to be the light for them. And it can be very dark for us, very depressing. But I think that's also really encouraging to know what we're here for, so that we can hold on to that hope and that knowledge of, okay, I might be suffering right now, but first of all, this suffering is very temporary. For me, I'm like, my suffering compared to all the animal suffering, I'm like, I shouldn't even be crying at all. Like I got nothing on that. But yeah, we can keep that hope in the midst of suffering, that everything is eventually, you know, gradually moving towards that ultimate salvation. Danny says, if that was on my train or a train round ours, Merseyside, did I say that right? Merseyside, UK, he wouldn't get off the train alive. Trust me, even the grannies would have him. Well, also, yeah, like even just like a citizen's arrest, but at the same time, if the person like has a knife, then people might be a little bit more hesitant. But I don't know. It's hard to know what real humans would do in that situation, especially we've been programmed to think like, I'm thinking back to like first aid classes or whatever, and it's like one person needs to take charge and not because everyone's assuming that someone else will do something, and so there needs to be like one person that takes charge and like, you do this, you do this, you do this. And frankly, I know that there's not a lot of people in the world that would take over that leadership role, but anyways. Hey, Queen Ange, how's it going? Queen Ange says, hey, Anana, Queen Anana, you're looking gorgeous as always. Thank you. I appreciate that. I am probably got like this, I've been with children all day glow, because it's been a really awesome experience to go and hang out with my cousin's kids. My first cousins once removed. Wow. and just play with them. I love the innocence of kids and their creativity, and just, I don't know, even the little baby. My arms are so sore from her holding her all day, but I wouldn't trade it for the world, because I mean, I don't even know when I'm going to be able to see these kids next, and they're only little ones. So as far as I'm concerned, when I have a baby, it's just like, I'm going to be embracing them. I don't agree with the cry it out method. Like, they're only this age once, and you need to enjoy it and soak it up while you can, because someday you're not going to be able to pick them up and hold them, and you're going to be sad that you can't. So David D says everything from TV is fake. Inverts. What the heck was that? Seemed really close. Inverts and deception. Every major sporting event is scripted by Satan, who uses inverts to create his desired outcome. Almost always. Very few deviations from his plan. And that kind of adds to the idea of the master brain, and how everything is just being pre-planned by these higher intelligences, the ghost in the machine, if you will. And like the Megillah says, the decisions made by the master brain are all head and no heart, and that leads straight to hell. It actually also is the same problem that I've been dealing with on a personal level, is that the all head is like, this is the truth, take it. Why aren't you understanding the truth? Wake up, right? Not leading with love, like understanding where the people are and trying to like plant gentle seeds to try to wake them up. So it's kind of interesting how we can also get into that, all heart or all head and no heart mentality that the master brain has. David D says most humans are sheep, not leaders. I definitely agree with that. Oh, and then you said you are extremely rare. I from a very young age knew that I had an impact on people. As I said in my earlier live stream, like maybe in 3rd grade or something, the teacher told my mom, she's always disrupting class, and I put her near the quiet kids at the front, and by the end of the day, those quiet kids were talking. Like, so I know that I have a energy to me that, and I know that I came here to be a leader, and I'm trying to align myself to become the best leader that I can be, so that I can have the best impact on the world around me. I know that I have not done a great job. I've led with the head and not with the heart a lot of times, and tried to just use that aggressive energy to force awakening on people when they're not ready. It's kind of like you walk into a room of like sleeping people with a pot in your hand and a wake up, and you're just like bashing on the pan as much as possible. Like, a lot of people are going to be very angry. They're not appreciative of you waking them up. They're angry at you. Now you are pushed to the side. That bridge is burned. All of these different things because you woke them up so abruptly. They weren't ready to give up the illusion, the American dream, the whatever delusions that they were under that kept them doing whatever they've been doing for their entire lives. They weren't ready for that, and you got them out of it too soon. I'm speaking from experience. Try not to do that. Jolly Boss says that's true, David. And I want to circle back to the idea of humans being sheep. We kind of see sheep as this negative thing, but God and God has created sheep. And if you look at other species, even a lion group, what is it called? Lions, whatever, wolves, like they, in their different groups, have a leader. Like, there are leaders, even in a beehive, there's a queen. Like, there are underlying things in nature that we can see that, like, having a leader isn't a bad thing. And some people are better followers than leaders. Like, humans in general kind of have been created to be more innocent and loving and trusting, in the hopes that we share that with the rest of the world. But unfortunately, it's been used against us, and we've been put into this survival mentality, and that loving and trusting energy and unity energy has been turned into violence and division and complications. David D says, all thinking without love. Master brain AI is already creating hell. We are already in it, and it will only get worse. Yeah, how long has the master brain already been controlling things? Because in the Megillah, it prophesies all of the different trumpets. Like there was 9/11 in one of them. There was Dolly the sheep. They're talking about linking with the brain with AI. So all of these things have already been prophesied. How long has the master brain been going? Was it actually started like way back in the beginning too? I wouldn't be surprised if that was one of the first things that was started once the the evil ones try to prevent the tree of life being planted on this world so that they could corrupt it. And I wouldn't be surprised if all the way back then it started. And then everything throughout history has been according to that specific plan. And these pendulum swings of, again, female suppression, blah, blah, blah. I don't mean to say blah, blah, blah to minimize it or anything. I'm just saying all of that. And then the swing to where feminism and everything like that, it's all been so calculated, every single stinking step. And I don't know about you, but I don't trust the plan. Where that plan is headed is straight towards hell and more suffering for not only us, but the animals and every other species involved. We are center stage right now, humans. We are the ones that have the power to determine what way this road will lead. Are we going to continue going down this path of violence and death and destruction that we've already been going down? Do you guys really want to see the end of that? Because we haven't even begun to experience the karma for our deeds. The enslavement that we have, the 9-to-5 jobs, the barely making ends meet, the CPS coming and snatching children from good parents, that is a little tiny slap on the wrist compared to the just tons and tons and tons and tons and tons of abuse that we have given towards the animals for thousands of years. Our karma has been very minimal because of the ignorance that we have been under. But now we're awakening. We know better on an actual conscious level. Obviously, before we already subconsciously knew that animal abuse was wrong. How many of us, even growing up as meat eaters, would be able to take that knife and go and stab the cow, would even have the sick idea of impregnating a cow, which I don't know if you guys know this or not, but the cow like gets sodomized and impregnated at the same, like it's a very disgusting and horrible situation that happens. And the people that do it call themselves the animal husbandry workers. Like it is perverted and disgusting and very demonic. So anyways, how many of us as meat eaters would ever have done any of that, right? Consciously or like subconsciously, under the surface, we already know that animal abuse is wrong and that we personally wouldn't actually take the knife to the throat. We're paying others people to do it. It's out of sight, out of mind. We pretend like this is happening in the nicest way possible. Oh, these cows are just given anesthesia and they're just we just sing them to sleep as they have their anesthesia, and then we just gently slice their throats and blah, blah, blah. It's like, no. Anyways, we're waking up, we're taking back our power, and that karma can be much worse. And the New World Order is like the ultimate karma for what we've been doing. It's totalitarian enslavement. It's hunting down the naturals in the woods, the naturals being us that don't merge with AI. It's suffering and chaos and death and famine and all of that stuff. And it's totally preventable. But we as a species continue to go down that path. It's really sad. David D says, our strengths given by God have been used against us. Yes. Our innocence used against us and our innocence is used against us and makes us trusting of deceivers. Absolutely. Yeah. Even as little kids in school, and the innocence of our own teachers, right? Like I gotta make sure that I preface this the right way, because part of me wants to say I don't believe that my teachers like the people that I actually personally interacted with growing up were, in on the deception. But then I'm like, oh, wait a minute, I haven't actually transvestigated them all, and like I don't really actually know. I want to believe that they were innocent. And then as a child, you're going into these real humans who have just been taught these things and they're just repeating it. They have the best intention, but they've been deceived themselves. And so they pass on that deception and it just keeps getting worse and worse and worse over all these generations. Obviously, a lot of us did have teachers and classmates and whatever that were inverts that looking back, we're like, oh yeah, that's obvious now, but we didn't know at the time. So there's two different sides, whether it's a deliberate deceiver or someone that is just deceived and they're passing along that deception with a pure heart. Especially, I went to a Christian school, and I'm thinking of one specific teacher in particular. I kind of want to say her name, but I kind of don't, because I don't know. She also was a Sunday school teacher at my church. So I had a very close personal relationship with her from very early on in childhood, before I even got into school. So I know that her heart is pure and that she really wanted to do God's will, and that if she was made aware that the globe was a deception, that we never got taught evolution, so that one's not even on the table. And the Big Bang wasn't either. We were always taught Christian creation, but with the globe as well. So there was this firmament that was before the flood, and then this water canopy fell to the earth, and now we're on a giant spinning ball, even though Revelation still says 4 corners of the earth. Just don't ask questions, just Aw. Queen Anne says, Queen, I love what you do. You're the reason why I am 4 years. That's so cool. Thank you for saying that. Aw, I really appreciate that. You're the reason why I'm 4 years vegan and my life has improved. The media has brainwashed to thinking eating animals is okay, but my soul is definitely vegan. Thank you. Aw, well, thank you for aligning yourself with your soul, because we can be told things so many times and just la 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 la, like little children, right? And it's like, la la la, I don't want to hear that. And actually accepting that and choosing to align yourself and give up things and make sacrifices in your own personal life. It's hard to say that because, oh no, my computer just went on energy saving mode. Okay. It's not so much of a sacrifice for us, but we do have to give up the family gatherings, the parties, the snacks that we all enjoyed, all of these different things. And it's a lot easier for people just to turn a blind eye to it. And so I really appreciate that you took that upon yourself to actually become that change and align with your soul's truth. That's really beautiful. So thank you. Aw. Thanks to everybody who's gone vegan. Like, you are part of the change that is happening in this world, and you're not thanked enough. Like, I know I don't mean anything in this, but like, thank you so much for the animals. Thank you so much from God and Goddess. Like, you are really helping to make this world a better place. And I know it's a thankless job. So from all of them, thank you so, so much. Just, I can't imagine being a cow and like just coming into a vegan and understanding like just their love for us, and being able to overcome so much programming and all that darkness that sets us against animals and makes us think that they are property, and disconnecting us from their emotions and their wants. So that made me happy. Thank you. Humans don't realize how much bad karma Satan has encouraged us to accumulate, raping, murdering, and eating innocent souls. That is so true. It's hard to it's hard to even think about how much is owed to us because of the wide-scale abuse of animals. But you should know that our enemy has every single detail marked down, because they want to make sure that we pay for every single thing that we have done, even though they're the ones that are encouraging us to do it. David says that the war between the naturals and the artificials haven't even been conceived yet, but it's coming. The Megillah prophecies will come to pass. Many already have, proving the Megillah is real. And 3 of the evidences in the Megillah itself are, number one, the evidence of higher spiritual teachings than in all of the other religions, which definitely true. The second one is the change that comes from the reader, the change that happens in the reader's life when they actually read and then start to implement the knowledge and take that on. I myself am living proof. If you guys don't remember me a few years ago, not even a few years ago, like within the last year, I was very like, yeah, about a lot of things. And now I'm just like, I'm really trying to absorb the love and compassion and just be just so much love. It's, anyways, the third evidence is that the Holy Spirit will reveal the truth in the Megillah to those readers that are not under the spell of Satan. You can read the Megillah, part of it at least, for free online. And let me just put the description in our chat here if I can, so that you can read it. This might give me some really bad feedback, so sorry in advance. Chat. Inner studio. Come on. Thank you all for being here this evening. I appreciate you spending your time with me. And why isn't this working? And yeah, just coming and hanging out and getting to chat. It's really, I love it. I love having a truther family and being able to share my time with you. So, oh yeah, I forgot my computer's gonna die. Okay, here we go. Sending messages is not currently supported for Facebook profiles. Okay, can I, where's my box? All right, well, I guess I'm not allowed to share links, but actually Facebook is kind of being weird too because it's not letting people share links. Okay, so there's that on Facebook. I think you have to get verified on Facebook now to be able to have active links sharing, and there's something else on YouTube as well that you have to be verified. I don't really know. I saw that their verification had to do with like uploading your ID, which I guess I'm not really opposed to. Maybe I should just do that so that my links work. Okay. Sweet. I've shared on both sides. Cool. Hopefully you're able to see that. If you can't, if you just go on Google and write in the Holy Megillah PDF, there should be a Facebook link that comes up that's sharing it as well. Or just email me. I'll send it to you. Okay. queenanonasnow@gmail.com. Same thing as my YouTube. Same thing as my Facebook page. Whatever. David says human. Oh, that's already read that one. The war between the naturals and the artificials hasn't been conceived of. Okay. Trump predicted Pearl Harbor. Interesting. Oh, Trumpet, not Trump. Trumpet predicted Pearl Harbor. Trumpet predicted Dolly the sheep cloning. Trumpet predicted 9/11. And final Trumpet predicts AI war. Yeah, I have to get my recordings back up. But the sixth trumpet is when humans start to link with AI, and that continues for who knows how long before the seventh trumpet happens. In the time of the seventh trumpet, that takeover is well underway, very advanced. And with children of the crescent moon, these Islamic nations are like, oh my gosh, America's being taken over by droids, and we need to do something about it. They come and bomb the White House, and the White House is actually rigged with explosives because of the master brain. The master brain wanted the children of the crescent moon to do this. It's all part of the freaking plan. They even like blaming them and all of this back and forth between Muslim countries and America has been planned for this seventh trumpet to take place in the most explosive way possible. They come and bomb the White House. The White House blows up, completely just getting rid of all of the surface government. They go and bomb the children of the crescent moon and just firebomb them. And then the shadow government from the US can actually emerge because the surface dwellers are out of the way. So man, oh man, that would actually be a really exciting movie for the watchers to watch. And it would frankly be exciting for us to take part of, because we would get to be in an action movie, we're like the main characters. They get to do these really exciting and impressive things. But there's a lot of suffering and chaos and destruction and lost souls in that timeline. And like the Megillah says, we can shift over at any point. It's just, the problem is that that stream has been running for so long in one way. To get the current to start pushing another way, like, even just think about how hard it is to get humans to understand that veganism is the way, and flatter. Like, just waking people up to any topic can be so much of a, like, that's like pulling teeth, right? Like, this is a really hard thing, and so we're fighting against a lot of power. And yeah, I still have hope though. So all that being said, I'm still holding out hope, because I know that things can change. We can have an impact. We can plant seeds in a better way. We can do things that will reach the masses and change their minds. So I'm holding on to hope for that. Hopefully you are too, because things get really dark. And once you allow yourself to get into that darkness of hopelessness and depression, you're going to just spiral out, and you're not going to be positively affecting the world around you. And I don't know, for me, that would be just such a really dark place. Before I started my awakening experience, I was in a really dark place, and I'm like, what is the purpose of all of this? Because this cannot be it. This suffering, this 9 to 5 madness, like, cannot be it. What is the purpose of life? And that's when I started to dig into conspiracies and try to dig into the mainstream Bible and understand the real teachings of Christ and all of these spiritual truths that ultimately lead to, like, what is the purpose of life. And that, I love how the Megillah talks about us being created for the purpose of existence, or yeah, existence, consciousness, and bliss. And that expansion of existence, consciousness, and bliss. Be fruitful and multiply. Go make more babies. Existence, it's getting bigger. It's getting better. Your consciousness is expanding, and things are getting better over time. That was the original blueprint of creation, that upward spiral into a more heavenly realm. And unfortunately, we've just been in a downward spiral. So we need to get ourselves out of that downward spiral, which is, not being depressed, not being in these states of shamefulness and regret and depression and all of that negativity that the world wants us to be in, and be of the upward spiral, which is ultimately a choice. And sometimes that choice is harder than others, to be like, no, I don't care if I'm in a really bad situation right now. I'm going to be positive. I'm going to be loving towards people. I'm going to be kind. I'm going to change it. And that's where the real change happens. But it's easier said than done. So I definitely understand that. David G says, you have made thousands of people vegan and have saved millions of animals. Aw. Well, I really appreciate that. And I would love to see some numbers at the end of my life. Not that that matters at all, but I really want my existence to be worthwhile. I know that is a complicated thing, because obviously our existence, like, doesn't have to have a big purpose and stuff to be worthy. Like, look at cows. They're not doing anything great. It's still, they're worthy of existence, right? They're worthy of being able to live and love and all of that. And so maybe there's still some personal programming that I need to break out of, to where I'm feeling like I need to be something. But the fact that I can have such a positive impact on animals and also hopefully my fellow humans, like, that really, really means a lot to me. And I wouldn't have it any other way, because, like, what else would there be to do? It's impossible to read the actual teaching of God and Goddess and not realize it's true. Only those deeply understate and fail will not wake up. Unfortunately, so many are too, though, because they think that their mainstream Bible is like what their relationship with God depends on, and if they even question it, they're going to be in some sort of, like, Daddy might get mad at me and I might go to hell. Like, and I'm not trying to say that in a weird way, but, like, God and Goddess are our dad and mother, right? They're our father and mother. And when you think that your dad is this jealous, angry, wrathful being that, hey, you did something wrong. Sorry, Dad. Wait, don't shoot me dead. I'll go kill this lamb instead. Like, I'll give you 20 chickens. Like, don't hurt me. It's just a bad relationship with our father, and ultimately our mother too, because we're not taught that our mother even exists. So it's a sad situation for me. I guess this is a long story long, and anybody that has had success with planting seeds with their mainstream Christian family to towards enlightenment, I would really love to connect with you and hear what you've done and learn from you as well. I'm still learning. I'm very open to learning. I want to know how best to present the truth to people so that they will accept it with loving arms, like wide open arms in a loving manner, and just embrace it and become the best versions of themselves possible. We have too much of the negativity, too much of the hatred and unliving things. Like, I'm not doing any of that. Hey Dave, how's it going? Dave says, yes, you've helped so many people. So thank you, Anana. Aw, your dedication to the truth and lifting others is exemplary. Thank you. I really appreciate that. Aw. Cool. Hello, plain and simple truth. Good evening, Anana in chat. Hello, welcome. Oh yeah, I forgot that my computer's gonna die. What am I at here? I'm at 22%, so I'm probably good for now. David says, all psyops all the time, all part of Satan's plan. Exactly. Exactly. Hello, Boston Ray. Boston says, hey. Or here, sorry. Don't miss Late Night Live tonight. Is that on someone else's channel, or is that here? Because it's not very, well, it's late here. It's actually 7:30 in Ohio. But it's not for you. Yesterday, I went on Mark Sargent's show and just in the live chat, and it was pretty late because it started 7 p.m. Pacific time, and then I was invited to their late night, show after hour type thing where they had like multiple people in the group just chatting, which was really cool. I really would love to connect with more flat earthers. I understand the community and the situation that people are in, and I have compassion for them, and I want to use everybody's situation to make things better. So regardless of what situation that you're in, regardless of what family that you were born into, regardless of any of that, we can all choose to stop making those bad decisions and make good decisions and make the world a better place. So I'm hoping that I can be an example of that as well and encourage people to, regardless of your blood, regardless of if you were born in one of these inverted Satan families that rule the world, regardless of all of that, you have free will and you can choose whether you continue on that path that was laid out before you or change course. Part of the truth, part of the awakening experience is kind of veering off the path that was laid out before us. All of our parents want, well, I shouldn't say all. My parents wanted what was best for me. They wanted me to go down this path, and I personally felt called towards like nursing because, well, I don't know. I want to heal people, and that kind of stuff comes easy. But that was the path that was laid out before me, and I could have continued down that path. I could be a pediatric nurse right now. I could be doing a lot of different things that I'm not doing, but I chose to change course, and you can too. None of us are doomed to go down any path that we're already on. You can always change course at any time. That's the beauty of it. It might seem like you're stuck. It might seem like there's no way out of a situation. It might seem like you've invested too much, but you haven't. So hopefully people will, embrace that. Dave says, we've been programmed to believe in a world of entropy, that all must decay. I don't believe that's Yah's way. Oh, me either. Yah's is progression and ascension in love. Syntropy, not entropy. We need to reprogram. And I completely agree with you as well. The creator, the ultimate creator, didn't create things to decay. It's, again, the expansion of existence, consciousness, and bliss in this upward spiral. Even when we read about these very holy people in the Megillah dying, they like just get lifted from their bodies. It's not this decaying process where they're years and years and years of decay, and then they're crunched over and they're hunched and they're full of cancer and pain and suffering and all of this stuff. Like, no, they're in vibrant youth in very early or very late ages of their lives. And then they just, I'm thinking of Simcha, that just like, her name means joy. And she literally, like, when she got pulled from her body, she's just like, play. Like, it was just a really joyful and exciting experience. And contrast that to also the programming, but just the suffering and the decay and the downfall of humanity. My mom, at least when I was growing up, worked in nursing homes, so I got to see a lot of people that were in those older years, and the suffering and the sad, like, just very bad states. And frankly, they earned those states because of their decisions. When you are consuming, like, I know I keep coming back to veganism, but when you are eating 3+ meals a day that come from rape, murder, kidnap, suffering, how do you expect to live a long life, right? It's like the righteous and the meek will inherit the earth. The more righteous you are, the more life that you deserve to live. Life is a gift. I know it can be really hard to see it that way. It can be really hard to see existence as a gift, especially when there's so much suffering. But really, it is. This life that you've been given is a gift, and it can be so beautiful and great. So much of it is what we make for ourselves, and the consequences for our own actions. Activity says, as Christ says, the only dance worth dancing is up the golden ladder. If not this, why are we here? Why exist at all? I definitely agree. I'm trying to think of the existence of the powers that be and how they have all the wealth and the praise and all this stuff, but then they go home at night. First of all, they have to look at themselves in the mirror naked, and hey, if you were an invert, I would not wish that on anybody. Like, I can't even imagine. I can't imagine like having mismatching body parts. Just, I don't know. Anyways, they're not happy, and um, so all these pursuits in the world are just leading to emptiness and suffering. And while being on the right path and doing what your soul came here to do might come with suffering, and maybe a lot of it, at least you know that you're doing what your soul came here to do. And on the other side, you can be proud of it. It wasn't just that you were racking up all of these material things that literally can't go with you at the end. You're still going to die. You're still going to decay and suffer. And it's a sad thing. So hopefully more people realize that, like you were saying, the only dance worth dancing is up the golden ladder. I love that. All right, I should probably just end the stream before my computer dies. But I will be back on here tomorrow at noon for the noontime peace contemplation. And what's tomorrow? What day is it even? I don't. Cool. So yeah, tomorrow I'm gonna be babysitting with my cousin again, and Friday I'll probably be babysitting with them again, and then Saturday I'm gonna be going with my sister and her kids, which I'm super excited about because they're some of the ones that I've got to spend the least amount of time with. And the fact that my sister's daughter is so much like me and that she really likes me, like, I it's like one of the favorite relationships that I want to pour into. I'm really excited about. So yeah, I will make sure that I meet up with you at noon every day for the prayer. If it's not noon, I will try to make sure that you know what's going on. If I'm left with the baby, I can't really, like, if she needs my attention, I can't just put her down and attend to you. You just have to understand that, get used to being around a mom. But I will make an effort to connect with you and be updated with what's going on. I hope that you have a wonderful evening, and I'll catch up with you tomorrow. May God and may God